Here we go. We're live.
There it is. Attaboy. Give it a quick tickle.
Gotta warm up the larynx. Give a little finger blast to the Adam's apple. All right. So I am Chris with Cowdog Craftworks, and we are joined by PJ with the Evolution of Tables and Arturo, the Chop Master. Together, we are Ask Me About My Wood. Okay.
Yes.
So, fellas, what do we got working on? Let's start with PJ.
Oh man. It's been a pretty crazy day in the shop. Pretty crazy week in the shop, rather. I acquired, thanks to Mr. Fergo 1979, with his lead on a small milling machine, like a metal, like an end mill machine. I went and picked it up from the guy who was giving it away for free. And so that kind of prompted, every time you bring home a new large tool, it kind of prompts like a shop revamp. You got to make room for it. You got to move stuff out of the way. You got to kind of rethink how you want your shop to flow. So
yeah, a little reorganization.
Yeah, that's really, aside from like going and retrieving some logs that people call me about and working on some stuff,
nice stuff.
But just out in the shop, man, literally throwing stuff away, moving stuff around, cleaning up, much to the appreciation of some of the dust collection comments I've gotten in the past. I'm sure that people will be happy to see my floor is clean. Like,
miracle. It's a miracle.
Yeah, man. What about you, Arturo? What are you working on, man?
I am I had to do for a design company. So cut out like 300 and like about 50 pieces of slats, basically, out of MDF.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be there for a while today. Got that going. Gotta do some tables for a beer brewing company.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What, like the logo of the table, or the
no,
table?
No. Actually, they have like in their actual brewing company, like they have a beer area, like a tap room area too, and they have these tables there that they put the water jugs.
Yeah.
That they want to get them new because like they're falling apart. They're steel legs and stuff like that, and they're just falling apart.
Okay.
So they want to make some new ones, and then
metal.
It's actually metal. But the thing is that where the wood is, it's actually just splitting apart. So like the owner's tired of it, and he just wants to get brand new tables.
So call the Chop Master, man.
Exactly, man. That's what we got. What about you, Chris? What do you got?
All right. So I have been still working on the Builders Challenge most of the week, which has been pretty interesting to say the least. So I'm actually made some good progress though. So I've got pretty much my whole carcass done. I've got the drawer done. That took most of yesterday. Spent a lot of time finessing it with hand tools. And then now it's down to steel. And
nice.
Last week we had talked about my little snafu with realizing that wireless charging can't go through plate steel, even thin plate steel. So I came up with a solution for yesterday, sort of on the fly. And I know initially I was talking about having Arturo, do some sort of CNC whatever we hadn't even really conceptualized it yet. But yesterday, as I'm standing there, I realized that I can make like a little tray that's going to sit under the plate steel. And then what I can do is somehow drill a circular hole into the plate steel and then have the charger sitting essentially a little bit proud of the steel, like not much, but just a smidge proud of the steel. So you're going to have black charger on black steel surface. So I think that's going to look a little bit better. And what's kind of nice about it too is that the little charger tray sitting underneath the steel is removable. So in the event that you want to change your charger out or make some modifications or whatever, go to a different size charger. I mean, there's different ways to do it. So that was my contribution yesterday. And then today,
cool.
Yeah, today I'm going to throw some finish on and probably going to have to figure out this whole steel situation. So PJ is going to come extremely in handy. So yeah. Especially with that new milling machine.
Before. Yeah, which of which I broke the bit because I have no idea about feeds and speeds just yet. It was an old bit though, man. It was an old bit, like a little tiny, and a small too, like 1/8 end mill, like a little 4-flute end mill, like not anything substantial at all. I really, it came with like 3 collets, 3 different size collets, and the one bit that was in it. So you know, that one thing, I did make a slot. I think, you know, you guys saw on my Instagram story, I did successfully make a slot in a piece of 1/8" steel. So it does work, you know, but I just have to maybe get a different, well, definitely have to get a different bit now.
You know who you could talk to actually a little bit about that is JT from DFM Toolworks, because he does a lot of his own milling of like small squares and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Granted, he's also breaking the hell out of bits all the time.
Sure. Yeah. His steel is a lot harder than my, you know, cold rolled whatever square tube that I'm using too. Like, so he's probably beating the hell out of those bits, you know, more than I ever would, you know. But yeah,
a good what is that? Northern Carbide. There's a shop for you.
Yeah, Norton. That's true. Norton Carbide.
Yeah, I get some bits there sometimes. They have a good. Yeah, they're a little bit more expensive than Amazon, but like.
But they're there. Yeah, they're right
there. Like they're there, and they have like a whole mess of selection, and they can sharpen the bits.
Okay. Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. I've had a bad taste in my mouth from them.
Oh, really?
And it's probably 99% my fault, because I brought a bunch of chains there to get them sharpened. I think I've said this before, like a bunch of like chains, and I was like, I need them ground at a 10-degree top angle instead of a, you know, the traditional 30-degree top angle for, you know, guys that just cut trees up into small pieces. And they did it, but it was like not a very good job, I guess. I was like, man, I should have just done this, whatever. Anyway, long story short, I'll go check him out.
Yeah, I remember your neighbor Brian. He had a bad experience with them too, actually, on his chisels. I remember he said that he brought some chisels over there, and then they blued all the tips of them just by overheating the hell out of them.
Yeah, so. That's true. That's exactly what they did to the chains too. It matters less with the chains, but if you've got a nice set of, you know, some Stanley Sweethearts like Chris has, like those are, you know, they've got to be done slowly. Keep them nice and cool.
Yeah.
That would piss me off. And he had to pay for them to do that. Like, here's my money, and please ruin my tools. Please do that for me, and I'll be so happy about that. Thank you so much.
I'll be thrilled.
One of the guys by me, he gets his table saw blades sharpened, and they come out good. I mean,
I think that's where they shine.
That's what I was gonna say. Maybe that's where they shine. And maybe the bits. I haven't tried the bits, because I really don't need sharpening. So. But maybe the table saw blades is where they're at more than chainsaws and chisels and stuff like that. Let me read through the group chat real quick. We got Robert saying, we have the Asian Hugh Hefner in our group. It's about time. It's about time.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
We need some famous people on here. We got Morning Wood cooking some bacon. A little jealous on that one.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
If he wants to bring some over, I know he's only in Cooper City, so it's a short drive.
Oh, that's not a bad drive.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go to his house for next weekend podcast.
Oh, okay. Special guest with bacon. All right.
With
I like
bacon
that.
on site. You know.
Oh man.
You know, so yeah, everyone's here. Dusko is here. Dusky.
Oh, Dusko, what's up, man?
The Duskers. He's here.
Yeah.
You know, all right, so let's get rolling with this. Let's get PJ rolling. Dealing with callbacks and knowing when you're being taken advantage of.
Yes. Those are my two topics for the day. And like we were saying earlier, they're probably going to wind up morphing into just one big topic, because inherently when you get a callback, and you're nice, like we all pretty much are, you know, some of us are nicer than others, of course, but like, you get a callback. I always tell people that, you know, they might buy a piece of furniture from me, but it's still mine, you know? So if I get a text, like a picture of a crack in something or something that I made literally fell apart, but not that anything I've made has actually fallen apart, but like, you know, I take it to heart. I really do. I take it very seriously, and it kind of ruins the rest of my day. I hate when it happens. Let's say like in the morning before school or like during first period, I'll get a text and I check my phone and it's something, hey PJ, you know, this thing, it's got this crack in it or whatever, or this piece of wood is starting to droop down, like it you know, it dried more and it's cupping or something like that. It bothers me for the whole day. I've got like a lump in my throat the whole day, because I've been presented with a problem and I can't do anything about it right away because I'm at work. So immediately, you know, enter the carpenter's empathy. You know, like, what can I do to fix this? What can I do? Truly, like, I'm not pissed off. I'm not annoyed by them calling me. I'm like, damn, I really have to fix this because my reputation means a lot, you know, and I want them to be happy, because if I put myself in their shoes, I paid money for something. I want it to be right, you know? And sometimes, that being said, sometimes when people smell that, when people know that you're that type of person, they're like, oh, all right. You know, they're like scheming in their head. They're like, oh, this guy actually feels bad. All right. You know, like, let me see what else I can get out of him. Like, then they start doing like, oh, well, you know, if, you know, for my troubles, what do you think about making us a bench or something like that? And I'm like, well, damn it, you know,
the signature PJ free bench.
Yeah, right. The free bench. That should be the name of my business. Like just free benches.
Free bench.
Free bench.
Like I'll make a bench.
Very heavy free benches at gmail.com.
At gmail.com.
I sometimes do tables as well. There you go.
Yeah, so, yeah, and every now and then I'll do a table to supplement the free benches that I give out. But, so,
no, but it makes,
go ahead.
Makes sense. You want to do right. You want to do right by the product that you're putting out there and by the client. You know, they paid, and I can get that. I can feel that. You know, when something doesn't come out just right.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks.
Or it literally is something that you made a mistake on.
Yep. Yeah. That's it. You didn't catch it.
Then you're just, hey, I'll be apologetic. I'll do my best to do the repair on site so that you're not like without a table for
like no downtime
for a couple days or a week or so. Because especially if it's a big slab or something like that. Like for example, I told Chris about this. I had a rosewood slab that was actually book matched, so it had a big joint down the middle, and it was like 3 inches thick. So it's a very thick table, and the wood does what it wants to do. So it kind of opened up a little bit in the center. At both, the head and the foot of the table, the joint was tight, super tight still, whatever, but just maybe like a 4-foot section down the middle. It's like 8-foot table. It opened up a little bit in the middle, up to about 1/8 of an inch. Like, so it's a pretty sizable gap down the middle.
Noticeable gap.
Yeah, noticeable. Yeah. So the first time it happened, I went and I took the table back to my shop and I said, I'm sorry this happened. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip straight down the center. You're going to lose, unfortunately, going to lose about 1/4 inch overall of your table width, and they're like, that's fine. We just don't want the gap to be there. I said, okay, here we go. Took the whole thing home. Mind you, the table's freaking 600 pounds. So I had to bring a guy with me to get it back in the truck, whatever. Then I push everything else out of the way at the shop, do the repair, get it back together, hire the same guy to help me lift it, get it back to the house. Everybody's happy. Awesome. Same time the following year, I get another call. The same thing happened again. And I'm like, what the hell? Like this piece of wood is really not worth it. Because now I'm like breaking even pretty much on the table. And so I offer the suggestion, let me just put that, I have that wood repair, the Rangate knot filler. It's like a glue gun on steroids. And I have a color that will match the color of the table. Let me just put this stuff in the gap, close up the gap, and then that's it. And they didn't want that at first, and then they finally agreed to it. So I go and I do it, and the guy was actually, he was nice about it, but I could tell that he just was kind of disappointed that I was doing that kind of fix rather than the first fix that I did. But at this point in the project, the life of the project, I'm like, dude, you're not going to notice this after I'm done. You put a runner down the center of the table anyway. You always have like decorations down the center of the table, so you're never even going to look at this. And secondly, it's a piece of wood, man. It moves. The crack in there. It doesn't look bad. Like I wouldn't mind having this table in my house. Actually, I really love that table. That rosewood is just gorgeous.
Right.
So whatever. I felt like I was being made to feel bad when I shouldn't have. But that's just my character, I guess. I was just like, I take it really personally, and I don't want the guy to be pissed off at me. And I still, every time I think about it, like right now, I'm like, damn, the right thing to do. What is I've told Chris before, like, what is the right thing to do? Like Chris has got a similar story. I'll let him tell that story about a certain sitting device. What is the right thing to do? Like there's a difference between what you want to do, what's practical, what's good for your business, what you're not going to have to spend a lot of money on fixing. There's a difference between that and what is the actual right thing to do. And trust me, fellas, both of you, it'll feel a lot better after the fact. Even though you'll be pissed off the whole time that you're doing it, you'll feel so much better if you do the right thing the first time.
Yeah, I can see that. You get the right thing done the first time.
Yeah.
It feels a lot better. You know, it makes the customer happy instead of getting a phone call in a year from now and be like, hey, it happened again.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Damn it, you know, like it happens. I mean, it happens. That happened to me with a cutting board. I guess wherever they are, the humidity is a lot different. And I shipped it. That one was shipped. And it just like the tobo had just opened up and split the cutting board.
Yeah.
Like just split it. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Because I've had that cutting board actually for like a year since I first started. So I had it like about a year and a half just sitting in my house. And then it just split, like it just bowed and just blasted. So I actually went back and made him a new one. And I haven't heard anything since, but you know, it's always like in the back of my mind, did that one split too?
Yeah, or did they put it in the dishwasher?
I don't know. I don't know. You never know.
Probably.
You never know, but it's a big deal. It's like, you know, you feel bad. You're like, damn, you know, like I made this, nothing's ever happened, and then it's out of the door and boom.
Yeah. And they pay for it, you know, and even if they did something wrong, you want to be the bigger person. Be like, listen, I'm the wood guy. I want them to say something positive about me. If anybody ever brings up that cutting board, I want them to say, "Oh yeah, he sent me another one." You know,
right.
Just no questions asked. He just sent me another one. You know?
Right. Yeah, you want to be the bigger person at the end of the day. It is your product. It is your name on it. You know, you want to do right. So it's like,
you don't want to say. You don't want them to say like, "Oh yeah, I had to go back and forth for like 2 weeks emailing him, trying to convince him that he made a mistake or whatever."
Right.
Listen, just all right. Look, I'm already busy, but here you go. Here's your other cutting board.
Yeah.
Dingus.
Yeah.
Don't get it. Don't put it in the freaking dishwasher again. You know.
I'm not above being petty though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna disagree with that.
So, I mean, PJ was talking about my situation. If you go to my Instagram feed, there is the modern rocking chair that I did, which I think I have finished up around January of this year. And that was my first chair that I've ever done. Well, not my first chair, but my first rocking chair for sure. And no plans, nothing, just literally building, figuring out on the fly. And as it turns out, after the chair made it to its final home, that the sort of center of gravity of the chair itself, it doesn't rock in the way like a traditional rocking chair would, really.
It became a stool.
What's that?
It became a stool afterwards.
Here we go.
I mean, she thinks it's stool, but you know, that's a different story altogether. But
I thought it was the stool. You know?
Yeah. So, I mean, to kind of give you some perspective on it, what happens is that when you rock in it, you have to basically push with your legs a little bit back and forth. Like it doesn't auto rock, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't really think much of it when I first, released the chair. I was kind of like, oh, like that's a thing. But at the same time, it does make it easier to get in and out of. Like I thought it was a little bit practical, and it's kind of designed for a new mother. So that was like the whole thing. She had a baby. She wanted to be able to rock the baby back and forth in the chair. All right. So the chair gets delivered and I don't hear anything. And I didn't hear anything for almost a couple of months. And then I heard through a third party that there was something up with the chair. And I'm not going to get into the details of who the third party was and all that, but it turned into basically like public slandering of my work, but not to me. Like not, hey, like there's an issue with this. You need to, recognize it. So we get like kind of this stalemate going. And then finally, she approaches me, I don't know, a good like 4 months later and is like, hey, can we try to work something out about this chair? And by then I'm already pissed because I'm like, why didn't you fucking come to me first? Right. I could have probably fixed this incredibly quickly, with literally no effort, like cut the runners off, move them or even make new runners. I mean, whatever, like I would have done it gladly and I still would, I guess. And I mean, just to give you some perspective, I still haven't fixed it yet. I mean, we're in almost the end of May and, I finished this chair in the beginning of January. So it turned into this whole thing where I was like, all right, like I'll come pick up the chair. She lives like down in Miami Beach, like kind of a hike, but I was like, listen, I'll drive down there. I'll pick up the chair. I'll make it right. I'll take care of it, And it turned into this whole thing where she's like, like, how about I, bring it up to you? And then, kind of back and forth about like the logistics of the pickup. And then the conversation's just gone dead since then, and I'm sort of at this point now where I'm like, listen, like, I'll take care of this, but I'm not going to like break my ass about trying to hunt you down to fix this problem that you want me to fix. I'm super happy to do it, free of charge, whatever, but A, say it to my face, and B, like, let's actually do this, stop, pussyfooting around and like try to figure out how to actually make this happen.
Yeah, you just want to fix it. You want to fix your whatever happened, and I can see that. It makes sense. It actually, as that customers sometimes are a little difficult with that.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is such an easy thing for me to do at this point. And it's funny because I think about it constantly. Like I think about like all the different ways I can fix it now. Like
it's bothering you. Like it's,
it's bothering me.
But it's bothering me. It's not even my job. It's not, but I'm like,
but at the same time, like I'm not going to chase somebody down to, do something that they want me to do that I'm not going to get paid for. So there's that, like I'm not going to go hunting her down, calling her every single day. Like, hey, like let me do this, let me do that. Like, it's like, listen, like if you want this done, you need to meet me somewhere and literally give me physical possession of the chair so that I can fix it. So
she doesn't want you rocking on it, man.
Apparently, I mean, she's
not
not rocking on it.
You know where she lives.
Yeah. Maybe that.
No, man. Honestly, like the mere fact that it is in your head still, and like we're all pretty passionate about stuff like this, like, well, this specifically. You should honestly just be like, yo, I'm in the area, even if you're not. Like, let me grab the chair real quick. I will have it done for you by next weekend. Something like that. Like, at the end of the day, she paid you. There's no, like, basically a client's money is their meeting you halfway. You know what I mean? Like they're that's them offering their half of the bargain, basically. Like, so the fact that I'll say it, you messed up, you messed up in the design of the chair, according to her, even though it looks awesome. You messed it up. So you have to be the one that like makes it right in all aspects. Like if it involves you having to make an extra phone call, and be like, hey, I'm still thinking about this chair. I haven't heard from you in a week or two, whatever. Like, I'll be in the area Saturday morning. Like, let me just grab it real quick and I'll have it back for you freaking Saturday afternoon, maybe, like bring it over to the shop. We'll freaking bang it out, or throw it in the fire pit and start over.
Yeah. But I also left out an important detail here. This is somebody I see every single day. So it is.
That changes everything.
So that's
really awkward.
That's part of this too, where it's like, listen, like I've been chasing you down for now at least a month to try to get this done. And I see you every single day and you're telling me we can't figure this out. Like, that's kind of, and this is where my pettiness is coming in for sure. But like I said, as soon as custody of the chair is released, I'm happy to deal with it. Yeah. Sure. And it's funny because like I'm an attorney, she's an attorney. It's like maybe we're both like just being,
legal battle.
It's a stalemate. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But that's like where it is. Like I can't fix this until you give it to me, and you are just being crazy about, the logistics of making this happen. So, I mean, eventually, yes, like I'm sure it's going to happen. It might be way later down the road than I would care for it to be. But
you have to get a judge involved, man. Just have to custody for, like supervised custody for a Saturday or something like that.
Yeah.
Get Mrs. Doubtfire over there.
Like, custody. We gotta like sign it. Witness to the chair and crowd.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up, PJ, about how like you sort of view every piece of furniture as still being yours, even when it's like elsewhere, because that makes this custody situation even worse. Like I have rights to this chair. Like I have the ability. I have a fundamental right to be able to go fix this thing, and you are keeping it from me.
You're keeping that from me. And it's just
read you something from the chat. Dusko posted. Got to do right by the customer, but there has to be a thick. You put thick line drawn somewhere.
Is that a 1 C or 2 C?
Two C's. I was just saying, how many C's are in that thick line?
One C. And goes, where that line is varies from customer, and from project to project.
Okay.
Dusko's like a very tall, large Yoda sometimes.
Yeah, so it doesn't vary from customer. What varies from customer to customer? If they're shorter than him or taller than him, that's his like warranty plan? I don't know. I don't know if we can just.
Dusko's right. He's very and
Yeah,
what I
no,
learned from Dusko, I actually applied. Dusko, if you're listening right now, which he is,
Yeah, he is.
you'll be happy to hear that I took a little bit of your. It wasn't really advice. I've just kind of emulated what you do. You always tell me like, throw in some coasters, throw in something like a little present, basically. Like they're paying you to do something. They're paying you, comfortably. Throw something else in. So the lady that I did that kitchen bar for a couple weeks ago, Chris knows it as the best install of all time. I dropped off a console table at the same apartment, and with that console table, I dropped off a cutting board, which was an offcut, something that I would have burned, I put little rubber feet on it. I sanded it, put some butcher block conditioner on it, and drilled like a 2-inch hole in the corner so it looks like a cutting board. That was her favorite part of the whole thing. She forgot about that beautiful console table that I built for her. I welded up the base and made it real nice. But all she talked about the whole visit was the freaking cutting board. And I'm like, really? That's what you're happy about? But that's what they focus on.
Yeah,
the little tiny things. Now, when she mentions me to somebody else, oh my God, whatever he builds you, he's probably going to give you a cutting board too. He's amazing.
Or a free bench,
or probably a free bench. Yeah, that's it.
Or his buddy's going to come over to your house and draw really thick pencil lines on the walls.
Yeah, don't piss me off. I'll send Chris back to your apartment right now. I'm drawing shit everywhere.
PJ will take a drill bit and jam it into the drywall underneath the window.
And then just act like it didn't happen. Like smooth it over with your thumb and walk away. Oh no.
But I can see that. I mean, and it's a nice little gift. At the end of the day, you get an offcut or little cuts there, here and there. You can make a quick cutting board or some coasters, like you said. Little gifts that at the end of the day, that's what they're going to remember you by. So that's always a nice thing. Maybe even in the next time they buy something, you might not give them something. They just would like dealing with you. That you went the extra mile.
Yeah. And a good person won't expect that kind of favor every time. You know what I mean?
But they don't.
If they legitimately expect you to give them a cutting board with every order that they place, like, no, dude, come on.
No. I think I do that a lot, especially with, like you said, with offcuts. Because I got bins full of offcuts, and I'm like, damn, what could I do with it? Just make a quick cutting board with some little coaster, something that it's not going to take you. Like Dusko's writing right now. He's just like, what, an extra 20 minutes of your time anyway?
For real. Yeah.
And it's going to make them happy just because of that extra mile, and that reflects on everything you do for them. They're going to remember, no, this guy gave us this extra. I know on the next project, he's going to go above and beyond to get it done.
I heard a really good tip, I want to say last year, from the Made for Profit podcast, and they were talking about looping back with former customers of yours using those. So essentially, let's say you made a table for a guy a year, 2 years ago, whatever the case may be, that, around the holidays, send him a 4-pack of coasters and, have like a little note in there, like, hey, thanks for, purchasing from me previously, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you ever need anything, phone number, email, etc., like, your business card, whatever. And it was very interesting because they were like, yeah, like these, just like Dusko said, something that takes 20 minutes of your time, if that, some of these things you can batch out. Like, you can make about 1,000 coasters in a weekend. Yeah. And not only do you have coasters for sale, but then you have promo items, etc., that you can use to drum business back up, to sort of get yourself back in the forefront of these people's minds. And therefore, the next time they need something, they're like, oh, maybe, PJ can make me a console table, or, whatever the case may be. So I thought that was a really, really cool tip.
Yeah. Excellent point. Excellent point. I get letters from my mortgage broker, like my birthday, Christmas, everything, like I'm like, dude, I don't buy a house that often, but thank you. But of course, whenever I have a friend that's doing something like that, he's the first broker that comes to mind, first and only, really, because he like continually sends these emails. He'll send physical cards in the mail for Christmas and birthdays and stuff, both to me and my wife. Like, he'll send that stuff. It leads me to believe, I'm like, dude, well, how much money did you make off of us? Like, geez, maybe I got a really bad deal, but there you go. You got to stay relevant in people's minds.
Yeah, just keep them there. All right, so let's head to Chris. Chris has had an interesting topic hiding in the back of his head for like the past, like, I want to say, like almost 2 weeks now.
Yeah. Well, before I get to that, let me hop into something quick because otherwise it's going to be, front-ended and back-ended. But my second topic we'll do first.
All right.
Nice.
What is the dumbest way you have cut yourself in your shop?
Mm.
Because yesterday I'm using my smoothing plane and I'm done using my smoothing plane at like this point, and I'm just putting it away. I'm like really just trying to clean up my shop, and I'm literally putting the smoothing plane back on the wall behind me, and I was holding it by the bottom of the bed, like the sole. My hand happened to be right next to the blade. So as I'm like setting it down, I'm like slipping my hands out, and I cut myself like literally on the side of my palm using a smoothing plane by not using it, like literally just putting it away. So yeah, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, this has got to be the dumbest way that I've ever cut myself in the shop ever. Like, cause I'm not even using it. Like it's not like I'm not even using the tool in the way it's designed. I'm literally just trying to be done with the tool and put it away, and then I cut myself. So
it's like when we go back, like sending coasters and like little cards to everybody.
It's a reminder.
It's reminders for you, right?
I mean, yeah. The fucking thing is 80s like white sunglasses white. So I mean, I know it's there. Like there's no hiding.
He doesn't trust that. He doesn't trust that. That's the problem.
So yeah, I was just curious, from the group, like what stupid ways you've cut yourself. I mean, PJ had kind of a dumb one the other day with the carbide on the on the mill, but actually, I don't know if
that's what I was just thinking of, man. Like I cracked loose. There's four bolts that hold on that cutter head. There's 8 little carbide, little squares, indexable carbide squares on this 8-inch cutter head. There's 4 bolts. So I cracked the first bolt loose. I'm feeling tough. I'm like, this is great. But as soon as, the jarring from cracking it loose, it made my finger slip on and sliced my thumb open on one of the carbides. I'm like, oh man, whatever, that hurt. Okay. So I'm like, damn, I should put on some gloves, make this a lot easier so I could get a better grip on the thing while I'm trying to crack that bolt loose. But there's no time for that. Let's go. Let's get to the second one. So, but let me just be more careful this time. Let me see if I can position my hand in such a way and prepare for this jarring motion of when the bolt cracks loose so I won't get cut. So I'm trying, crack. Oh, shit. Okay, well, now my pointer finger is cut. All right. So now this happens 2 more times because there's 4 bolts on the thing. And I look at my bloody hand afterward. I'm like, that's got to be the stupidest thing. Like, just put a freaking glove on, man. What the hell's your problem? You got to take your advice sometimes, man. Like, I literally, the first one I didn't know was going to happen. But the following 3 I did know. And there you go. Like, I freaking cut myself 4 total times. And now I'm complaining about it because of, one of them got infected, whatever,
Oh, my God.
I don't like to wash my hands. No, I'm fine now. I'm fine.
But you kept going after the first.
I kept going. Yeah, I'm like, that hurt. Let me do it again. And again. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah, and then afterwards, I remember. Well, so I wasn't done for the day in the shop, so I still had work to do. And the last thing I wanted to do was just be bleeding all over the piss soak of the Builders Challenge. So I did I was on Chopped, and I took not quite a Band-Aid. I just took a shop towel and tied it around my hand, and then slipped a rubber glove over it.
Nice.
And just went right back to work. And it was actually kind of funny because I'm sitting there videoing and doing the whole 9. And I'm like, I wonder how many people are going to say why are you wearing one glove right now? What's going on? It's just no comment. So
remember when I got my finger cut with the router. So that one, I plugged in the router and I had my finger in the way of the router bit.
No.
And then check this out. And then it's not even on because I leave all my tools off. And then I go to turn on the router bit, and my finger's there. I didn't even realize that. It's just wonk. I'm like, oh, that's. and then talking about the shop towels, I wrapped the blue shop, towels, put painter's tape, continue what I had to do for the rest of the day. And I saw you guys that day too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you came over with the walnut that day. Yeah,
that day, and I had a giant blue shop towel finger in the hallway. But it was dumb. It was I didn't even think of it. I plugged it in. It was still off, and then I go to hit the on switch, and my finger's there. Just.
They should make some kind of safety manual or something for these things. God, I can't.
The funny thing is that it's the trim router bit, so it was that little extra slot that routers have that in the plastic, so you can see in.
Yeah,
it was on that. It was in that, and this little hole.
Yeah, I've cut myself with my trim router before. PJ might remember that when I was working on that Cypress table. So
Yes.
I was just running it. And one of those things where like I didn't even think about it. Like I was just like trying to figure out a better way to get a hold of it. And I was like, oh, like let me put my finger in this little hole. That'll give me a better grasp on the fucking thing. And next thing I know, like, you know, you just feel it. Like it's almost like it doesn't happen. But like I remember I like yanked my hand out and dropped to the router, and yeah, like I looked down and the whole like tip of my finger was just gone, but it all grew back.
Nice. Yeah, it grows back. I mean, it isn't that bad. You know, they asked me, "You got a tennis shot?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." Go with the measuring tape, just like slice my finger.
How often do you have to get a tetanus shot? Do you guys remember?
Every 5 years.
5 years? Okay.
So I got mine a year and a half ago, so I was still okay.
Oh, you're good. Yeah.
Good for another.
I'm probably overdue, but anyway. So yeah, let's get into the more important part of my topics here.
Here we go.
Yeah. So our buddy, and I apologize because I really don't know his name. Like he's in the group chat, but it's
I think it's Griff. I think it's Griff.
It's
just
at Griff's Pallets.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. And he is moving from, where is he moving from? Oh, Bay Area,
Oakland.
like Oakland.
Oakland, Cali.
Bay Area. So he's moving from there.
Tampa Bay. Right? No.
Yeah, we can shout out Rowan and Witch the next time for a Tampa Bay situation. I really love Tampa. So anyway, yeah, he's moving to South Florida. He's been on a group chat, and he made a really cool, like mid-century modern walnut coffee table, and I'm a big fan of that. Like,
yeah, I have it pulled up here on the screen. I'm just talking so it gets pulled up. Actually,
yeah, it's clean. It's fucking sexy looking. I mean, it's nice. Like, I could actually with the domino, I could probably build that super fucking fast. But yeah, like, you know, one of those nice things. But anyway, yeah, awesome table. And as you can see from that post, like he is like crushing it. Like that post did really well for him, like, you know, close to 500 likes. I mean, bazillion comments. I mean, he's killing it with that. So
those comments though, like
yes, dude, get into the comments. So this one guy, and you know what? I'm not even scared to use him by name because, you know, if any of y'all find him,
here,
you know, find him in the streets and, you know, take care of him.
Don't talk.
Violence here.
Yeah, just publicly shame him. You don't have to actually hurt him. So.
That's just as bad.
Is it? Is it? Yeah, I'm very Make America Great Again right now, which is really sickening me. But anyway, so yeah, like this guy, Dylan B. Johnson, and he says, Sean Boyd's design, but great execution. Now, if y'all don't know who Sean Boyd is, like half of our group chat apparently, he is a YouTube woodworker, and he has like, I want to say like 80,000 subs. I mean, the guy designs and builds some really great furniture.
No, but stuff, man.
Yeah, amazing stuff. But he's on YouTube. Like, you know, this is stuff that's not like, I mean, it's all public information at this point because it's out there, and he's showing people how to make it. So whatever. Before I get into that, so, you know, this guy Dylan just goes and tags Sean Boyd like a narc in the comments, and then him and Griff have this back and forth, which I actually didn't see most of the back and forth before, but as soon as I saw it, like the first time, I was like, this dickhead, like, you know, what is he trying to say exactly, you know, with this whole situation? Like, is he trying to say that he's infringing on somebody's copyright, that, you know, something is amiss here, like he's not crediting somebody appropriately? And that's actually where this conversation kind of goes. And it appears like this back and forth where I'm looking here. What does it say? Oh, he starts accusing Griffin of like deleting the post and then reposting, which is weird because, you know, he's got the original comments in there. So this guy's also just dumb. But then my favorite part right now is the fact that Sean Boyd hops in right at the end and then does the most PC thing I've ever seen, where he tries to appease both people.
There you go, right there. Appreciate it, man. And then Gross Ballots, great looking table. Keep up the good work.
I mean, but that's
to his Sean Boyd's Instagram page. I know exactly who he is, and he does a lot of like also tutorial type of videos too.
Exactly, pretty much every video is some. It's not like
a shop is what I remember it by, because it's like a little bay door and all that.
Yes.
Step by steps for everything. So
Yeah. Like he doesn't really like talk you through step by step.
No. He'll go, hey, I'm grabbing some 4x8.
Yeah, he does a lot of that, like watch me work, but I'll talk to the camera first and then, you know,
Right.
cutaways. So like, at least my view of it is that, you know, the whole point of Sean Boyd's channel is to teach people how to make stuff. And I don't even think this is necessarily, it's debatable whether or not this is actually even really Sean Boyd's design, or, you know, Griff is just making a table and you have some parallel thinking, right? Like, I don't see any evidence one way or the other. But I mean, what drives me nuts is this idea that this person who, I don't even, do they have a public profile?
No, it's private. I mean,
yeah. So this person who has like literally zero application in our space right now and doesn't even have a public profile is trying to call somebody out for using somebody else's design without any evidence, without any information, without even having like a conversation. I mean, at least like, you know, send Griff a DM and be like, hey man, like, you know, where'd you get that design from? Or blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, nothing. Right. Just like public humiliation immediately is what he aimed for. And so, you know what? Fuck that guy. Like, that is just the absolute worst. I mean, I am so annoyed by that. But once again, Sean Boyd coming through with playing both sides of the table. That was pretty gold. So, I mean, I'm just curious what everybody's, you know, sort of feel is on that, because I find it to be personally incredibly infuriating. And, you know, Griff's our boy. So there's also that too.
I mean, yeah, see, look, Robert's just posted in the chat too. He says he sells plans and templates for some of his stuff. I'm like, yeah, on YouTube video, you know, if he's doing it, I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I think that guy in particular in this situation is just doing it for attention. Yeah. More than anything, because you know, if you know Sean Boyd, or you go to his YouTube video or anything like that, and he helps, like, he breaks you, like, you know, he gives you the breakdown. You know, not so in detail, because also he sells plans. He has a business for it. You know, there's a business model there for it. But he breaks it down. And I think, you know, I don't see it a big deal, especially if it's somebody just, you know, making it or selling it or whatnot. It's not, you know, doesn't appeal to me, you know. I mean, if you direct copied it or, you know, everything like to the T, if you even tag the guy, okay, cool, you know, whatever. But it's more for exposure than anything else.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too, is it looks like, from what I can tell, and I haven't really done a ton of research into this, but it looks like this is Griffin's own coffee table. Like, this is literally what he's using in his house. You know, it's not like he took this, did a step-by-step video, released it on YouTube, and then tried to say like, hey guys, check out my original design, you know?
Right.
And
like, there's no like, hey, I made this off the top of my head or anything. He goes, I just
you guys can buy plans from my website or what?
Yeah, he took a picture of a table in his living room, and, you know, somebody's trying to roast him about it. Like, you know, GTFO.
I'm going to read this real quick. He posts, on that post, he puts, I can't be more happier with this coffee table. First piece I haven't used nails or screws on. Slowly I'm getting better, and it's the help I've gotten from my Gram fam. Thank you.
My Gram fam. There you go.
Like, what else do you want? Like, I really don't understand. I mean, he's giving thanks. He's like, what else do you want? Like,
no, that guy's totally wrong. I understand, like, getting offended about you know, not crediting people for designs and things, but just no. This guy wanted his 5 minutes of fame, or not even 2 seconds of fame. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I think it's well, it's like also when we're talking about stuff like that, it's like about that river table, the river table guy. I don't even remember his name.
Oh, Greg Klassen.
Yeah, man. Oh, that guy is such a.
Oh, this is actually an interesting thing to get into, because I love that guy.
Really?
And I like the fact that he patented the term river table.
The term?
Yeah.
Not the, okay, just the term.
Well, I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. Is like, when you look at those patents and you look at the way that they're structured, you know, and that's a very interesting point. So what you have to understand is, so a lot of people got super fired up about the fact that he patented river tables, right? But like, what is a patent exactly? You know, and it's, you're patenting certain things for certain purposes, okay? So he is really patenting the term river table as it is used in the way that he does it. So primarily wood and for furniture. So you can go on YouTube and show Oh, that was the other thing. It was for sales too. So you can go on YouTube and show how to make a river table and you're not infringing on his patent. You can do all kinds of things so long as you're not selling it and call it a river table. You can even make a concrete river table because it's not primarily out of wood. So there's all sorts of different variations on it. He was just kind of tired, and I feel it. You know, this guy charges $15,000 a table, you know, and he's tired of guys going out on Etsy and, you know, elsewhere cheapening his brand, right?
But now the problem mostly was that people were doing river tables before his patent.
Well, then they should have patented it.
And then, but then they knocked off of Etsy. Etsy is super biased, and they're just knocking them down. But they had, you know, now they're trying to take him to court because they had it before that he patented the name.
I mean, that's whatever. That's business, man. That happens in every type of business. That's the dog eat dog world of selling stuff to people and trying to get on top and better your brand and better yourself and better your business. Like, is it maybe morally wrong? You know, because like, let's say there's somebody like us that's just, you know, struggling to get by. I'm selling like one table a month, and I'm just trying to, you know, sell these river tables, and now I can't even sell them as river tables because this guy, you know, knew a lawyer and freaking, you know, patented the term, and that takes a hit. Now my family doesn't have what they need because this guy, you know, I got sued for saying river table. Is that morally wrong? I think so. But hey, like I said, that's business, dude. Figure out something else. You gotta keep moving. You know, and don't stay too pissed off too long. Let's go do something else.
And that's the other thing too. It's like, you know, you can still make your river table, right? You just can't call it that.
Yeah,
you know? And it's like, I mean, think about, say, McDonald's, right? Like, I can make a burger, but if I go around saying it's a McDonald's burger, then yeah, like, I'm an idiot. So, I mean, it's no different than that, in my opinion. Like, he's just trying to protect his brand. That's really the thing. It's not necessarily the concept. It's his own personal brand. And that's what he feels, is that, you know, he's the guy. Granted, he didn't make river tables, like, originally. He's not like the first ever designer of a river table. But he's the guy that popularized the river table on social media, through the internet, that got everybody else into it, is kind of where he sees himself. And I don't necessarily see any evidence to the contrary. I mean, maybe you can make an argument that Black Forest is really the guys, but like, in my opinion, like,
so it doesn't even make a difference.
Yeah,
they're huge. They're both huge. They're doing fine. Who cares?
Right. So it was more for the little people. I mean, I can see how it's to protect his brand. The only thing that bothered me was that you know, people that have had it before are like screwed, you know, but I guess it is the nature of the business.
Yeah. And are they really screwed? Because like I said, you can go and make the table. Just call it something different. Call it a...
The thing is, let's say they had it on Etsy beforehand, and then they named it River Table. And then this guy comes around, patents the name, because like you said, it's whatever, morally is something else. And then you're screwed. Now,
well, not necessarily. You can change the name on it. I mean,
of course. You know, so
really, I think it's just because people, when you're trying to explain what it is, when anybody is like saying what, you know, trying to explain what they're thinking, like that table that looks like it's got water going down the middle of it, like it's either epoxy or glass. It looks like it's a river going down the middle of a table. Like, what else are you going to search for on the internet? Like, so if you're searching for river table, it's not going to take you anywhere else but that guy's website.
Like, what about moving body of water through land table?
I don't think it was so much his like name or anything like that. It was more for that. I think at the end of the day, it was like, oh, now it's super popularized. Let me patent. So then all the traffic goes to my stuff.
Sure. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, and frankly, I feel that. You know?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
No, it makes sense, of course, you know. No,
like, think about other patents that are out there too. Like SawStop has. Here's an interesting one. Somebody I work with. So SawStop has the pattern on the brake. You know, that whole brake system, right?
Right.
Now that's something that impacts people's safety, right? So Jet can't make a safe saw like that.
Well, hold on a second. Bosch made one similar.
Oh yeah.
And then they sued them. SawStop sued them because of using that. Because SawStop want to license their thing. They don't want to do anything.
Exactly. So think about that as like a moral quandary, right? So you have technology that will make something
Safer.
that is dangerous inherently safer, and you're saying, nah, fam, I'm going to hang on to it. That way I can charge more for my saw.
Mhm.
I mean, that's almost as bad. Well, I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's that bad because I'm somewhat heartless, but it's you could probably make it almost synonymous with that guy who was buying up the medical patents and then, you know, charging crazy for, what was it? The
Oh yeah, the young guy that he was charging on. I forgot his name.
God, epinephrine. Yeah, the, you know, those
Yeah,
shots.
the EpiPens. Yeah.
Yes.
They caught him because he doesn't want to, you know, dish out cash to any, you know, any political people.
Oh yeah, he's a total mess.
Yeah, because the freaking all these pharmaceutical companies, they do it and all that, but he didn't want to dish out cash, so he was like, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna rain hell on you, and that's what they did.
So I think you can almost draw, weirdly enough, a parallel between that. Like, I mean, I think it's a stretch because one's way more extreme than the other. But I mean, you have a company that is saying, you know, hey, like, you guys can't have access to this thing that is going to make the world, at least the woodworking world, safer and better. So, I mean, there's that. I think the domino is another one too, where, I mean, that doesn't impact anybody's safety, but I mean, that's the reason why the Festool domino is so expensive and only made by Festool.
Right. Know? Well, now I think next year their patent ends and they can't.
Yeah, but no, they make like if you do a small modification to it, then you can re-up your patent.
Re-up your patent. Okay, so I guess it's to the original domino. I don't know. There's a lot of talk about that. Look, let's say 1 second, because I'm looking through the comments and Dusko's writing. He goes, Dusko puts, you patent something you invent, but not something that has been done and called way before you even knew what the table was. I understand why he did it, but that's the same as I patenting the word, you know, cutting board. And now no one else could sell under the term cutting board.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, but here's also the catch too, is that, you know, the U.S. Patent Office, you know, approved it. So I mean,
that's if that's the law on the books, if that's how the system works right now, then they took advantage.
And I'll tell you what, if you tried to, you know, go through and patent cutting board, that shit ain't gonna work. Like, you know, they found that there was enough novelty in what he was doing in order to approve that patent. So
that's why it's good to have an attorney on the show, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I know, right? Jeez Christ. Enough knowledge for the day. I'll tell you that much, man. Yeah, the sauce up one's the other one. Like, hey, we can potentially save hands and fingers, but you gotta buy your stuff.
Like, nah.
Money.
Well, I mean, look at you as a business. You guys, you know, myself included, we're always trying to like set ourselves apart. Even though we three, you know, all our whole group chat pretty much works pretty closely together, but we all try and do something that sets us apart from the crowd. So, hey, what easier legal way to set yourself apart from the crowd than not letting anybody say slab? Let's say I patent the word slab. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Like, or live edge, you know, live edge table. That's mine. Haha. Now you guys can't make live edge tables.
Right.
You know, but meanwhile, everybody's searching online. Where do I find a live edge table?
Exactly.
And it comes right to my website. Here you go. Ask me about my wood.
Yeah, but we are more moral dependent people, I want to say.
Yeah, man, I know. We're nice.
Know, it's not like
except Chris. I know.
Yeah, he's a lawyer. We fight.
Well, here's another, and it's funny. So PJ and I go to a bar that's down the way. It's called Wing House, and I think I've told PJ this like story a few times before. But you know, Wing House is basically Hooters at the end of the day. Like it is chicken wings, it's girls in shorts, high socks, right? The little scrunchy socks or whatever. Like, I mean, it's pretty much the exact same thing as Hooters.
Just different colors, like different color uniforms. That's it.
Yeah, another place. You got a few places.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, Twin Peaks, at least when you go there, it's got like a mountain vibe and all that. Like Wing House is Hooters, pretty much spot on. And there's actually a case about it too. Like there's a there is a case about it, and essentially the court was like, yeah, sorry Hooters, but you know, you can't have the you know, you can't corner the market on hot girls serving chicken wings, you know, wearing short shorts and, you know, scrunchy socks. Yeah. So, I mean, there's enough, I think, safeguards out there in, you know, the intellectual property system that sort of keeps idiocy from happening. So that's why I put a lot of weight on the fact that at the end of the day, like, the U.S. Patent Office is like, yeah, we see enough novelty in what you're doing, and we understand why this needs to be protected.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Hmm.
It really is. You know, it comes down to all that, and it's just, I don't know. But again, it's business is business. It's not moral business.
That's true.
You know.
Hey, I'm really interested to hear Arturo's continuation on lumber selection this week.
Oh, yeah.
It's super, super important, guys.
I'm gonna make a tutorial and watch. With the most thing on this channel. Watch.
I've actually been getting a lot of people DMing me with like pictures of like really shitty lumber in the back of people's trucks and stuff, and they're like, "Hey, is this what you guys were talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, those are boat trusses or
boat bulkheads, and that's a keel right there. That'll make a good keel."
Yeah, right. There you go. You see, it's important, man. It's important. A lot of people don't know. You know. All right, I'm gonna walk into my topics here. I guess commercial clients versus, I don't know the term, but I put it as residential clients. Because in business, you have either a commercial client or a residential client. So I guess more like a private client. But
that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, you're selling to one person versus a business.
A business, correct. Yeah. So I just didn't know the official term of it.
You're right.
Patent that. But yeah, I've experienced, this past week, a couple of commercial clients, and talking with you guys and talking with John, let's say, for example, from Combs, and dealing with commercial clients compared to like private residential clients. And I want to know how you guys deal with all that. How do you guys deal much with commercial clients at all?
Actually, yeah. Chris and I are dealing with one right now.
Oh yeah, you guys have that warehouse.
The shipping company, yeah.
Yeah, and how's that going?
It's going really well. It's way less personal than dealing with a private client. Like a business. I think especially a big business, if they're hiring you, the subcontractor, they expect you to have your shit together. They expect you to know what you're doing, and they kind of give you some parameters, and they say, "All right, do it." If you're going to, your neighbor down the street or somebody who found you on Craigslist, you want to make it personal. You want to say, all right, I want to come over to your house. I want to see the space. I have this as an option. I have that as an option. I could make you this too. Like, we'll take some specific measurements. Whereas these guys are too busy to care. And they're like, all right, put a desk here and we want it to be good. And that's it.
See, that's your experience. See, one of my clients this week, actually, and they left a deposit for the tables. He's actually very like that, like very personal, very detailed, very, everything to the T and everything. He wants it, everything, not like the typical commercial client, like when I do the hotel work or whatever. But see, then it becomes, they're more of a pain in the ass to collect money.
Well, yeah, you're waiting your 30 or 60, 90 days, something like that, right? To get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look at John. John waits 120 days.
Wow. No way.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he was saying that his Combs Design side actually pays the payroll for his cruise ship side.
Yes.
Because he has to wait on the checks.
Yeah, but then when that check finally does come in, it's like, hi-yo, money.
No, man. Think about it. You got your bills to pay. You got everything, but
now he's got to take all that money and refill
money and just throw it back.
Yeah, refill the pockets of his own pockets that he's basically emptied.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. It actually becomes tough. A money flow issue, and it's hard. It's hard because they don't care. Those people, they're savages.
No, dude. Like you said, he's dealing with cruise companies. Those people have more money than God.
Exactly, and they get their money.
And they're just holding it so they can make a couple extra months of interest on that money, and then freaking let it loose to him.
Exactly. So I find it, the commercial clients, the work is a little bit, it's not so personal. Sometimes it is a little personal. Like one of my clients is he's very, detailed oriented and stuff like that. I mean, he's built a successful brewing company in 1 year. So, I get it. I really get it. That guy's amazing. So it becomes, the residential, the private clients, the smaller clients, they're more, yes, like you said, like detailed, like they're more like, oh, I want this and then I want that. And they're a little more work, I say. But
it might depend too, Arturo, on if you're dealing with a commercial client. If you're talking to the actual business owner, they might want to get into more detail.
Yeah.
Or if that owner has like, relegated responsibility to like some intern who's talking to you, then they don't care. They're like, hey, he said he wants a desk. I don't know.
Yeah, he wants a desk.
Do it.
Desk. No, owner. I always deal with the owner, and he was like very like, no, I want this. He has a vision, and he wants to get that done. You know, but it also sometimes I think it makes your job a little bit easier because, you know, they're not going to come back at you and be like, no, we can't pay you because it's missing this, or we want this on.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
thank you.
Rough.
I will say, so with our commercial client, it's very, there's pluses and minuses, you know, the upside and downside to, you know, a client that's the way that this client is. So like PJ said, they're very like, hey, you know, we paid you guys a handsome amount of money to do all this stuff. So, you know, just do it, just make it appear and happen. So what ends up happening though is that we're so used to, I think, those residential clients that are super detail oriented that like I'll fire off questions about, you know, things that I think are a relatively big deal because that's from my experience been a big deal. So, you know, in this situation, we got a bunch of artist renderings from an architecture firm. And one of the things I noticed was that a lot of the furniture pieces had from the pictures what looked like some sort of like white gray wash on them, right? But then some of them didn't. So I'm like asking them, I'm like, hey, is like, you know, what do you want? You know, do you want this? Do you want that? And a lot of times I was getting feedback where it was like, well, can we see a little bit of both? And I'm like, or I try to remember how they worded it specifically, but it was like, well, at one point I think it was like, why don't you just make it and then we'll see if we like it? And I was like, that's not the way this works. Like, I'm not just going to whip up a, you know, 16-foot desk in a color and then, you know, hope that I can deal with it afterward. Like, no way. So it took a lot of back and forth to try to work that out. And I mean, that's just kind of, I think, the scale though. I mean, this is a very large company. So
no, what I learned because I deal with them in like restaurants and stuff like that. And my wife has pointed it out. My wife goes, sometimes you ask too many questions and they get confused. I don't want to say confused, I don't want to say, but they
you give them too many options and then they get tied up
lost and like, well, they don't really know what they want. And it's like, you know, and
sometimes it's easier to just show a picture like, hey, do you want this? I can make exactly this.
You want this color? This is the color or this color? Pick.
Yeah. Well, it's like on the conference tables, we did the Lichtenberg burnings and, you know, we had the idea of filling the void with resin that matches the color of their logo. So I went ahead and like ordered a couple different colors of green. And then we made essentially a sample board, you know, with each like one burning trail, down each row, filled it with a different color. We did one that was mixed AF. And then we, you know, just sent the board over. Like I was like, here, like, tell me which one you want, you know? And that was actually really successful, I think. You know, we got them exactly the color. And what was funny was it wasn't the color that we thought it was going to be. I remember that very specifically. Like, you know, PJ and I are looking at their logo and looking at the color. And we're like, oh, like they're totally going to pick this one over here. And they went completely in a different direction.
Yeah, the opposite of what we thought. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's one thing. That's one thing that I've noticed with commercial clients that if you show him like this picture here, if you show him like a few colors, like 3 colors, and you go, this is the options, and that's it. Then it's more like they'll get more exact what they want, and it's a lot easier than like a private client. Private clients like we're like, I don't know.
Yeah, can you blend option A and option B to like make this custom stain?
Commercial clients look more like, hey, you know what? Here's 5 options. Pick one of these guys, and that's it. And
because they don't have as much time.
Right. Not only that, but you gave them options.
Yeah.
And real made your life a little easier. But they like that. Okay, look, he's asking for our opinion, and instead of just making something. Yeah. And cool. We like this one. You know, even though it's just made your life a whole lot easier than going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You know.
Have either of you guys had issues with social media and your residential clients? And I'll be a little more specific with that. So, you know, a lot of times, I think all 3 of us, but I know especially me and it's definitely PJ, we're constantly like documenting our builds through social media, right? Like, so we're showing them on our stories and all that. And, you know, sometimes I've had it once or twice where, you know, I'll have it in my stories or whatever, and then I'll get a DM from the client and they're like, hey, that base, like, could it be a little darker? And I'm like, well, I just sprayed finish on it, so nah.
So no.
But like, I wonder,
Oh,
like,
man.
has that ever bit you in the ass a little bit, where you're showing something and they're like, hey, like,
Yes.
I saw you stain that already. Like, is there a way to like make it lighter? And you're like, like, that's one of my
Yep.
maddening moments for sure.
Yep, absolutely. I swore to myself that I would not. Well, this is back before I used Instagram as much as I do now, but I would send pictures. That was part of my thing. Like, I'm in a good mood. We just closed the deal. I say, all right, this week I'll get on it, and not I'll give you a free bench, but I'll send you progress pics. Like, I'll send you a picture of the slab that I picked, or I'll send you a picture of the base as it starts to go together. So I would do that. I would like mock up some things and start joining some pieces of wood together, snap a picture, and send it to them. And they'd be like, oh, well, that's not the color we decided on. Like, disgusted. And I'm like, there's no stain on it yet. It's just the wood. God damn it. Like, I'm not sending you any more pictures. Okay?
Like, you gotta remember though, a lot of people don't think how we think.
I know.
And my wife tells me, you gotta remember, they can't see what you see. So you see a finished product, basically. You know how it's gonna look at the end. And they can't imagine that because they don't have experience in it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, why they hired us,
Yeah.
So it becomes like you want to show them something, and then you don't want to show them something.
Well, you want to show them something because you probably have a deposit. You probably have their money in your pocket already. You want them to feel good about paying you, like you're actually doing something with that money.
Right. But then you want to like generalize what you're showing them. You get me?
Yeah.
Be specific. What I like to do with like raw wood or something, I'll put some alcohol on it and go, hey, this is very close to what it's going to look like at the end.
Yeah.
My new thing right now is that I'm done staining. Like, I'm just over it. I'm not even offering it anymore. I'm just like, listen, like, you want something dark, like, pay for walnut.
It's true.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you almost charge the same because you got to charge the time and the effort.
Yeah, it's exactly like, let's go back to the rocking chair. Mm-hmm. So that is gorgeous white oak, like quarter sawn white oak, the whole thing. And they were like, well, I want it dark. And I'm like, well, if you want walnut, in the same configuration, basically, it's going to be, like a $2,000 chair. Like, it's going to be ridiculous. So I was like, all right, like, I really want to try this out. And I think it's a cool project. So, let's stain it. So I had to take white oak and stain it like walnut. And like, just the pain in my heart, like, as I was like wiping it on, like, I almost like had a fucking coronary, like, just doing it, like, just tears, like, watering down the stain as I'm doing it, like, so bad. But I mean, after that, and then even like, I don't know, staining and the care when you're finishing and sanding and all that, like, have you ever come over, say, like a hard corner and completely taken off the stain, like,
yes,
when you're sanding? So like, you're spraying on your clear coat of whatever kind, and then you just come over that corner, and all of a sudden you have a white corner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you miss when you miss a corner or something.
That moment of coming over that corner and say it's super dark, like Jacobian stain or something, and you come over that corner and all of a sudden it's white. Like, I never want to experience that ever again. Like, I'm just so over it. So yeah. That's where I'm at.
And now. It's literally like one pass with some 220. Like, you just pass over it real quick. You think it's no big deal. Like, you already have maybe 2 coats of finish on, and it just takes 2 coats plus a layer of stain, and you're like, you're never, you could dab on some stain again, but it looks different.
Yeah, the stain marker, you're sitting there like trying to like get it on the corner, like just to
doesn't do it. Doesn't matter. Just use a black Sharpie.
There you go.
If it's dark enough, I'll just use a black Sharpie. If it's like like I said, like walnut or Jacobian stain or even early American, I always have how I usually have a pencil in my ear. On delivery day, I have a freaking black Sharpie in my ear just in case something gets nicked or whatever as we're moving it in, and then just kind of touch it up real quick.
Yeah, maybe I should draw lines on the walls in black Sharpie.
Sharpie, that would actually probably be more effective. Then I have to get the primer out and everything, cover that up. God damn it. Oh, shit.
Next topic I had was outsourcing work.
Okay.
I've been getting a lot of calls the past like 2 or 3 weeks doing work for other companies. Like, hey, we got to get, like I have currently in the shop, about 27 boards of MDF.
Mm-hmm.
They range from 4x8s to 5x12s. And they're like, hey, we need you to rip these down like perfectly on their CNC. Can you do it? I'm like, yeah, sure. But the problem, it's not a problem, but I've noticed that it's a lot of companies bringing their work to like smaller companies, I guess, paying them instead of them doing it in-house. But I've seen a lot of, I don't remember the term of it, but a lot of people coming more often now than before, like a trend of it. And I want to see how you guys felt about, outsourcing some of your work. Not really outsourcing, but like, let's say you remember, Chris, we talked about, me doing your charger. Let's say, for example, like the charger cover or whatever, something like that, stuff like that.
Yeah, I have zero problem doing that. And I mean, a great example of this is this is how we became friends with Dusko, believe it or not. Yeah. So PJ and I were doing these tables for an axe throwing bar, and the guy wanted his logo on the surface of the tables. So I was thinking, I'm like, well, like I could go to a sign shop, I could do all this stuff. And then I happened to reach out to Dusko on Instagram. I was like, yo, you're in Miami. I see you got a CNC. Can you make me a stencil? And, I was fully able and willing to, pay him as part of the job to create a reusable stencil for us and to use that, to be able to spray paint all the tops of these tables before we threw on the epoxy. And I mean, I've got literally zero problem doing that. I mean, in fact, now looking back, like it is actually probably the reason why we even have the group chat. I mean,
yeah,
like that's like the birth of the group chat before the group chat.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's maybe the root of all of this, the podcast, everything.
It's all Dusko, man. It's all Dusko. Dusko really is the silent godfather of the whole group,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's bringing that big dick energy all the time.
Oh my God.
But like, yeah, a good, I heard again on the Made for Profit podcast, not that long ago even, but they had Jason from Bourbon Moth on, and Jason from Bourbon Moth outsources all of his finishing, every bit of it.
I FW that heavy, man.
Yeah.
I
would have no problem doing that too. Like if I produce that much volume, like just to be like, hey, like take it, like fine, whatever, like, and I have no issue, no qualms about that whatsoever. And it makes sense. Like his reasoning was that, in order to do finishing, it's got to be completely clean. You got to have a totally, dust-free, dirt-free setup. Yeah. So, for him and his workflow, he's like, yeah, like if I'm going to shut down the shop and set it all up for finishing, then I can't do anything else. He's like, I can't continue building furniture. I can't continue satisfying orders. And I completely feel that. I mean, PJ and I were talking the other day on the podcast about how, he's over there grinding metal and I'm spraying like 6 feet away. So like we're not doing it the right way in that sense. But I mean, and hey, we're talking already about outsourcing finishing to you, Arturo, on those tables that we have to do. So I mean, that's just another example. And honestly, some people do things that are just better than what we do, like
right. Yeah, I think a lot of things come down to that. Like they might do better, or they might be more, better situated to do what you need to get done instead of you, yourself. Sure. And then would you guys like include that in the pricing or anything like that?
Oh hell yeah.
Of course.
You have to. I mean, that's part of your overhead. So if you're using, say, like we were talking the other day, the multiplier, right? Like you just factor that into your overhead cost,
sure.
And then multiply off of that.
No, it makes sense, man. I mean, why not hand it over to somebody else so they can get it done, so you can continue doing what you got to do.
And they're better at it than I am, at least, like
better,
like
better
if
like I do my teaching at home.
Yeah. I can say that, maybe getting older, I always want to do everything myself. Obviously, like that's the premise of my business. It's like start to finish, chop down the tree, all the way to a finished product in your house as a dining table, right? I like to be the guy that does everything, but sometimes you just need to learn when it's appropriate to write a check to somebody, like I can install a new circuit in my shop. I can do plumbing. I can do this and that, jack of a lot of trades and a master of none. But like sometimes, hey, write a check, dude. Like, this guy's way better at it than you. He does it all the time. Let him do, spread the wealth a little bit. Let him do what he's good at, and you wind up with a better product. So you look better in the eyes of your customer.
Most definitely, man. I like that. I mean, I started seeing, like I said, I started seeing a lot more lately, and I think it's great. Why not? You can get
your customer doesn't have to know that you outsourced it either.
That's true. Yeah, they're like, oh wow, you're really good at finishing.
You're like, oh yeah, I'm the best actually.
Yeah, sometimes people don't even care either. Yeah. They just want the product. They don't care.
Just like Griffin didn't do design credit to Sean Boyd, like I'm not going to give any credit to Arturo for finishing.
That's all you got.
Yeah, man. I don't know that shop master guy. He tried it, and then I had to fix it. Whatever. Like
just the fact that I had to try it. But yeah, no, it makes sense, and I think like how like our Instagram and our group chat and all that works out. It's been pretty good because we could get, a lot of things done.
Sure.
Like a lot of these guys needed some lumber. Dusko needed some walnut. I remember Robert needed some ash. He needs some more ash. I got to go over there and get some more tomorrow.
Nice.
And, but you get a better deal sometimes. You can get things done quicker. It's a lot of, it opens up options.
Sure, man. Yeah, that's all that networking energy, man. This, the hesitance that all of us had, like sharing our experiences with everybody, and now look at us, like we're all producing better stuff. We're all having an easier time getting stuff done. Yeah, it's a beneficial all the way. Any way you look at it, man, it's all good.
And at the end of the day, the client benefits from it.
Yeah.
Like if you
that's why we're getting invited to be on the podcast on Wednesday, man, because we're starting to make some waves, I guess.
Yeah, right. That was interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. But that at the end of the day, that's how we work, and everyone's interested of what we have down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you guys got a group down there? I'm like, wow. I'm like, yeah, we don't just play with alligators all day, like.
We shoot iguanas in our backyard.
In the backyard. It was funny. Man. I was watching. We went to go watch John Wick yesterday. And in the preview, it was about like a alligator and like this area that got flooded. And my wife and I are like, "What is this? Like in Naples or something? Like this is what happens to us every day."
Yeah.
Yeah. A little flooding, some alligators on the street. It happens.
Oh man.
And look at us. We're still alive.
We're fine, man. We got all our fingers and toes. We're good to go.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Hey, I mean, I think that's about it, right? I mean, Chris, we'll wait for Chris to come back and sit down.
Yeah, he's in.
He just went outside. That's all right. I guess I can sign off for us now.
Why not?
No, he'll be pissed if he comes back and we're not here.
Well, I mean, luckily, you're in charge of outro today, so you can actually close this out without him.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, you're in
all
charge.
Right. So, I guess here we go. Thanks for listening, everybody, and following along with us as we progressively get worse at this. Make sure to follow us on all the social medias, your Instagrams and your Facebooks and whatnot. If you have any topics that you'd like us to talk about, be sure to email us at askmeaboutmywood@gmail.com. Ask me about my wood, all one word. And be sure to rate us on YouTube, rate us on any of the social media podcast platforms of your choice, and make sure to give us that 5 stars, and we're good to go. And Chris is back. Chris is back. I just got finished signing us off, man.
All right.
Yeah, what's the Instagram names? Chris, what do you got?
I am at Cowdog Craftworks, standard spelling.
PJ?
I am at PJ_Fetscher, FETSCHER, the evolution of tables.
There you go. And I am the Chop Master, THECHOPMASTER. There you go. All one word. And that's us for this week. So I guess we'll see everybody next week.
All right, fellas. Have an excellent week. All right.
Have a good one.
Bye.